Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of our entitled parents. In today's episode, revenge on my abusive mother. She never knew it was me responsible for the clink. My friend's father body slammed him and cracked his head open. Dad expects me to pay a full month of rent when I'm moving out the first week of the month. Update on pregnant woman whose dad told her to move out but still expects rent. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. Revenge on my abusive mother. She never knew it was me responsible for the clink. This happened in 2004 when I was 14. A bit of backstory before I begin: my mother is not a good person. She was abusive verbally for most of my life until I was 14, when her abuse turned physical. Because of her abuse, I came up with creative ways to punish her in my own petty ways, like tampering with her food and dunking her toothbrush in the toilet every day. This story is of one of my better petty revenges towards her and the one that annoyed her the most. I talked to my friends about the things she did to me, and although I appreciated the advice to go to the police, I knew that wouldn't work. My mother is very convincing when she wants to be, and every other time I went to the police, they never believed me. One of my friends, who we'll call Tom, gave me a brilliant idea that would annoy her to no end but wouldn't get me in trouble. His dad is a mechanic, so Tom knows his way around a car. After school that day, I went with him to his house. He showed me a place underneath the car, between the top of the front wheel and the side of the engine, and told me what to do. Bring on the pettiness. I had to wait a few days to enact my revenge, but the day finally arrived. My mother and my sister left the house to ride their horses, which gave me plenty of time to do what needed to be done. The next day I went with my mom and sister to do grocery shopping, and I was elated to hear the product of my labor as the car started to drive down the driveway. Clink. 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 Yes, dear readers. I attached a rock to the end of a string inside the car that made a loud clink sound every few seconds when the car was moving. What the heck is that? Me, no idea. Maybe you should get the mechanic to have a look at it. Remember how I said that Tom's dad is a mechanic? Well, he's the only mechanic in the town we lived at, and Tom made sure to tell his dad about the things my mother did to me. Needless to say, he was on my side. So after we'd done our shopping, we stopped at the mechanic so they could look at it and fix whatever needed fixing. As we arrived at the mechanic, "Hi there. Well, my car is making a weird noise when I'm driving. Can you look at it for me?" Mechanic: "Sure thing. How about you take a seat inside and I'll give it a drive and see what the problem is." He got in the car and drove it around the block. When he returned, the noise had miraculously stopped. He charged my mom for the check and we were on our way, but not before Tom's dad suddenly handed me the rock back and gave me a wink and a smile as I left. That night, I put the rock back in place and left it to do its thing for the next day, and oh boy was this satisfying. The next day the noise was back, so Mom went back to the mechanic, but this time the mechanic couldn't find anything wrong with it and couldn't hear any noise. I never bothered taking the rock out after that, and neither did the mechanic. He'd experienced her entitlement firsthand and had heard many stories from other people around town about her. The rock wasn't damaging the car or affecting its performance, so there was nothing that needed fixing. I moved away to live with my dad when I was 16, but before I moved, the clink was still there, tormenting my mother every time she drove the car. I lost count of number of times she took it back to the mechanic and the amount of money she spent on getting rid of the clink. The last time I saw my mother I was 23 and she still has the same car. I'd expected the rock to have fallen out by then, but the car still has a clink, but not as loud. Thanks, Tom. You remind me of Matilda. Smiling face with smiling eyes. That's who I was thinking of when I was typing that part. The story behind Matilda is another reason I will forever love Danny DeVito. Such a good actor and an amazing human. He. Best revenge ever. You got your revenge and Tom's dad got good business. Killed 2 birds with 1 rock. My friend's father body slammed him and cracked his head open. I was on a walk today and walked by one of my friend's houses. We are gonna call my friend Q, and saw that he was talking outside with his dad. I stopped because I was gonna go say hi to him, but Q and his dad started to argue over something. Then Q's dad grabbed him by the shirt collar and body slammed him onto the concrete and cracked his head open. There was a lot of blood and Q's mom ran outside screaming, "I'm going to call the cops." What is wrong with you? I just stood there in pure shock and horror as one would. Thankfully his mom called an ambulance and cops. Update: Q is alright. He got stitches and the father has been arrested. Give a witness statement to the police. Seriously, you should. The father needs to stay in jail and I hope he stays there for a long time. Like, what kind of monster does this to their own son? I hope your friend is okay. Like, what kind of monster does this to their own son? If this is what he does in public, I imagine that there's pure hell behind closed doors in that house. What I'd like to know is if mom tossed this bullying bastard out, finally. This isn't entitled parents stuff. This is straight up abuse and needs to be reported to police. Go make a statement. Dad expects me to pay a full month of rent when I'm moving out the first week of the month. Long story short, I got pregnant. My dad said if I'm pregnant he doesn't want me to live at home anymore. Great, I understand that, so I start applying for places. I am getting approved for a 2-bed apartment and am expected to move out the first week of May. So of course I tell my dad my success, expecting him to be happy for me. However, I was met with him saying, "Well, you're making at least 3x the rent to get in your own place, you can pay me rent. My bills don't stop because you decide to move." I offered to pay $150 to stay for the first week of the month and he threw an absolute fit about how he expects rent or I need to be out by the start of the month. Well, Dad, you'd be able to afford your bills if you didn't waste your money on pot, alcohol. Pretty sure that $300 a month I give you would be subsidized by acting like an adult, but whatever. I really expected him to be proud and happy for me, but I guess I was wrong. I offered to pay $150 to stay for the first week of the month and he threw an absolute fit about how he expects rent or I need to be out by the start of the month. Well, Dad, you'd be able to afford your bills if you didn't waste your money on pot, magic mushrooms and alcohol. Pretty sure that $300 a month I give you would be subsidized by acting like an adult, but whatever. Move out before May 1st and owe him nothing. Couch surf with friends or find a cheap Airbnb for a week. That's the plan. The funniest part is all furniture in the house is mine, so he's going to have an empty place to come home to. Edit. The car he is using is also mine, so good luck getting to work, Pops, lol. I hope you have enough friends so you can empty the place before he comes back from whatever job he works at. Take everything that is yours. When he calls to complain, tell him that those problems are a you problem, not a me problem. Especially him not being able to use your car. And documents, those come before everything else. Leave on the 30th. This is not worth upsetting yourself further or fighting with him. Crash with a friend, stay a night in a hotel, make it work. Make sure he does not know your new address. He will absolutely come for the car/furniture/money in general. Consider no contact if you don't want to be harassed. Because you decide to move? Excuse me, what? Don't pay him a dime. Don't let him know where you moved because you know he's just going to show up. Get all of your things and move now. Put your things in storage and couch surf. Take your car back and let Dad know that I owe you nothing because May 1st is Sunday and I'm gone before from Sunday. Update on pregnant woman whose dad told her to move out but still expects rent. So today I came home with a cat carrier for my fat friend. Ed asked, "Why do you need that?" Because I'm moving next week. You have till the 3 ed or you owe me full rent plus an extra $75. Yeah, that doesn't work for me. I'll be out by the end of next week and I'll give you a little more than a pro-rated amount, but in order to afford your bills I suggest not waking up at 7 a.m. to go get a 30 case of beer and a bottle of wine. I'm sick of your attitude. Because of you my mom didn't give me the car she was going to, and now I have to pay the full rent. You're acting like a real asshole kid. That sucks cause I'm taking my car and everything that's mine in the house, so I suggest getting things so you can take the bus to work, cook and shower with your own stuff. Also, I'm not paying more than I have been paying to be here for a week. I have a deposit and stuff I need to buy for my apartment. Your attitude is shit. You're so selfish. You better have my money for this month and you better pray you get your place because next month I'm charging you half of all my bills. I had to just laugh in his face and say I'm off to the gym and work. The audacity is hilarious. He's actually mad his mom didn't give her his old car cause he was using mine and is convinced I'm trying to fuck his life over when he's the one who said I have to move if I'm pregnant. And as of right now is talking mad shit to me over text because I refuse to clean up after him and all stated above. I'm just doing what I'm told. However, my child will not have a toxic mom and dad. I learned everything to not do via my parents. Wish me luck. He probably thought you would beg to stay after he said you needed to move out. Figured he could squeeze some more money out of you every month. Now he is realizing he is F-ed because he needs your rent money. And her car. And her furniture. At least he'll have plenty of room to have his tantrums. Keep an eye on your credit. I wouldn't put it past him to try opening credit cards in your name. Yes. That is solid advice. My EM opened a joint checking account with my name on the account, without my knowledge, after I moved clear across the country. It was overdrawn and, one day, I came home to a collection notice. I was confused because I knew that I didn't know anyone and then became livid once I found out what had happened. I closed the account and paid what was owed, chewed EM out, not like it mattered, and then monitored my credit like a hawk for years afterwards. As my parent, she had my social. I now keep my credit locked. Best of luck. Are you in need of help, or do you have stuff pretty much figured out? Glad to hear you told him off and laughed in his face. If he honestly thinks that everything that you want is his, are you afraid that if he finds where you live he's gonna come with cops to get stuff from you, or does he know that everything is yours? I ask this because he might just decide to look where you are and try to harass you for more money. Also, does your gambling addicted mom know as well where you'll be living, because I have a feeling that she might try to find you and demand money for your gambling addiction. Good luck with your baby and hopefully those two will screw off. Just not pay your father. He legally can't do anything. Make sure he's not using your car anymore cause he might wreck it on purpose. And get your stuff out of there ASAP or he could possibly destroy it all. I am carrying your grandchild. If you want to meet them one day, I recommend you keep any comments about how selfish your pregnant daughter is to yourself. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.